How do and welcome back. Well, today's the same day that I did my plum porter video, but it's got too chilly now outside, so I've moved back into the garage, and I've just been to the to my local corner shop, and I noticed they had a Fuller's London Pride. Now, unfortunately, they had it in the fridge and it was ice cold, so I've had it standing now for about half an hour, maybe coming up to an hour, just to let it warm up a little. You shouldn't really have these ice cold. It's an amber ale, or as they call it, an outstanding amber ale. And I thought, I haven't had a Fuller's London Pride for a long time, but I noticed on the Brew UK website, where I got the extract kit for St Austell's Proper Job, they've got a lot of recipes on that website, and one of them is a clone, an extract kit for Fuller's London Pride. They also have the Fuller's ESB as well. So I thought, well, let's buy a bottle. If I like it, I may just buy the kit, and that will be October's brew. So let's crack this open, see what it tastes like, see if I'm going to buy the clone dry extract kit. Here we go. Nice little hiss there, not too much, some CO2 coming out. Yeah, it was far too cold when I bought it. For this type of beer, like an English bitter, you do want them a little, not room temperature, but a little bit like cellar temperature, you know, and not ice cold like a lager. Okay, crystal clear as you would expect from a commercial beer. Nice frothy white head. I don't think that'll stick around though. There's some quite big bubbles there. Bright white. One finger. Ooh, a nice biscuit. A little bit of toffiness in there. Yeah, some like caramelly toffee notes. And a little bit of citrus and some earthiness in the hop. It's actually more hoppy than I thought it would be, to be honest. This is sort of like, it's a very popular beer in the UK, and it's thought of as like a quintessential English bitter. I think it was introduced first of all in 1959, but that's taken me by surprise. It's a bit more hoppier on the nose than I was expecting from your sort of like traditional English ale. Right, but it's very nice. It's got those toffee notes, the roastiness. Okay, let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. It's quite wet, which, I mean, of course it's wet, but it's got that watery quality to it. Medium to light bodied. It's not really a proper like medium bodied bitter. It's more on the edging towards the lighter side. It's quite light flavoured actually. There is some toffee notes in the flavour. But right at the front, it very quickly goes to a citrus earthiness from the hops, and a nice, I wouldn't say overly bitter, maybe low 20s IBU, something like that. But it finishes quite moist, which is a shame. I would have liked a much drier, bitter finish. There is a little bit of bitterness there, but it's mostly coming, I think, from that little citrus and earthy hop, and it's gassy. Interesting, in the bottle it's 4.7%. On cask in a pub, not round me obviously, I'm in the north of England, but on cask I think it's meant to be 4.1. So it's actually stronger in the bottle, which you would think enhances flavour a little. So I don't know what the cask version tastes like. I don't think it'll be as gassy. This it does feel a little bit gassy for the style. It's a pleasant, sessionable English bitter. Yeah, I mean, you can't criticise it because it ticks all the boxes, but at the same time, it doesn't excite you. It'll be actually interesting to brew this, simply because it is quite a basic beer. So it's a bit like lagers. You know, if you make a mistake when you're brewing a lager, you can tell, because it's such a simple beer. And I suppose in a sense this is quite the English ale, the English bitter equivalent. It's a nice pleasant taste. You've got some toffiness there, some biscuitiness in the malt, a little bit of like crust, you know, like a farmhouse bread crust flavour, and then the citrus and earthy hop. But it's quite light flavoured actually. It's, you know, and quite light bodied. So there's not much room to make mistakes. I don't think it would be a forgiving beer if you messed it up. I think you'll be able to tell, just like with a lager. So it might be interesting to make this next month. That said, on their website, it's actually a really good website. They do it's called Crafty Brews. Well, I showed you on the recipe, didn't I? For the St Austell proper job, it's got Crafty Brews. I think that's their brand for all grain and extract kits. And I've gone into the extract, and it's for St Austell. They also do a tribute, which I can get in the pub, in the supermarkets as well. And they also do one I've never heard of called 1851, which is an IPA. So that's an interesting beer. And for Fuller's, they do the ESB clone and the London Pride clone. And they've got several other breweries clones in their extract kits, as well as their own recipes. And also they've got Great British Homebrew Champion winner from something like 2013. That recipe is called ROC Fall. ROC Fall, strange name, but they've got the extract version of that kit as well. So they've got actually about 3 or 4 pages of just extract kits. And I think over the autumn winter months I might actually be trying a few of those. They've also got some pale ales. They've got a Kolsch up there. So yeah, actually I'm thinking I might be putting one of these on every month or so. But this is a very nice beer. It's just not outstanding. It's just a very pleasurable, typical English beer. Right, well, I'm going to be brewing tomorrow. Like I say, with the proper job. I do like extract kits. You know, I've done brewing a bag. 5-hour brew days. It's like, oh my god. I'm thinking this proper job is going to take me no more than probably an hour and a half, because I don't have to steep the grains. So it usually, if I start with about 12 litres of water, it usually takes about 15-20 minutes to get that up to a boil. It's only a 55-minute boil, and then I usually leave it for 15 minutes just to settle and cool down once I turn the heat off. And of course you do have a hop addition at flame out, so it gives it time for that that flavour to come out. So yeah, I'm thinking an hour and a half. And to me, the difference in quality between an all grain and a really nicely brewed extract, it's tiny. It really is tiny. And in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, it's not worth the extra 3 hours of a brew day. You know, I prefer to do other things in that 3 hours. You are looking at a very, very small difference. There's a big difference obviously with kits, but a nicely brewed extract beer is tiny. The difference between an extract and an all grain is very small, but a huge saving on time and cleaning up. You've only got one pot, and you just clean it. So for me, extracts are just a fantastic method to brew beer, and of course you've got all the flexibility of all grain, because the only thing you're replacing is the base malt. You can still experiment with your specialty grains. You can still experiment with your hops. You're just replacing the base malt, and that's another thing. Any all grain recipe that you see, you can just turn into an extract by simply looking for the base malt, and it's usually the biggest weight. So you look at the malt section and there'll be one that's like 6 kilograms or something like that. Times that by 0.6, and that's the weight of the dry malt, and that's all you replace. Everything else on that recipe stays the same. Your specialty grains, which you'll steep, as you've seen me do, your hops, everything else is exactly the same. You just look for that base malt. It's usually like well, if it's an English bitter, it'll be something like a Morris Otter. It's a pale malt, and it'll be something like 6 kilograms, you know, compared to the few hundred grams of your specialty grains. So you look for that line. You times the weight by 0.6, and that's the weight of a light dry malt extract. And that's it. That's all you've got to do. If you're using liquid malt, a liquid malt extract, then it's 0.8, because you've got to take into account the water content of a liquid malt extract. So you just times it by 0.8. So you'll need more liquid malt extract than you do dry malt extract. But that's it. So any all grain recipe that you find, you can just convert it into a dry extract beer and save yourself a shed load of time, and the difference is tiny. Anyway, very nice beer, sessionable beer. It's yeah, it's not exciting, but it's very nice. So maybe I'll get the Fullers, and we can do a side by side. Do the the Fuller's extract kit, and yeah, do a side by side like I'm going to do with the Proper Job. I prefer the Proper Job over this though. This is just average. The Proper Job's a really nice beer. But there you go, Fuller's London Pride. And maybe next month or soon, I'll brew one up with the clone extract kit from Brew UK, and we'll see how it tastes side by side. Well, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure as always, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.